Okay, the meeting is called to order, and everyone except myself should be muted. And I don't know if Jeremy can do that with a master stroke,
Actually can.
or you need to do it one
But
by
I
one.
will mute all, then you will need to unmute.
Alrighty. Okay, so I'm the president of New Jersey Choral Consortium. I'm Sue Metz. The vice president is Marina Alexander, who will sort of wave. The treasurer is Jeremy Lees, who will wave. The secretary is Ruth Anderman, who is about to embark on a major vacation trip, and she's sitting this one out. And we also have Eric Schwartz, who is a board member. And we have Barbara Sandeman, who is a board member. And we have another board member, Elizabeth Verderosa, who just got back from Italy and is in some sort of jet lag state and may or may not join us. And to get through the formalities, it turns out that 5 out of 7 board members have their terms expiring all at the same time, which is not a real good situation for us. So we're splitting them into 2-year terms and 1-year terms so that in future they'll be staggered. So another quirk is that the way this organization is structured is that the board members vote for the board members. The members from member choruses just observe the election of the board members. And the only 2 board members of the consortium that aren't up for re-election are Marina and me. So the 2 of us get to vote, and everybody else. Strange as it may seem. So the nominees for 2-year terms are Ruth Anderman, Jeremy Lees, and Eric Schwartz. And Marina and I will raise our hands to vote for them. I can tell by Marina's face that she's voting for them. And the nominees for 1-year terms are Barbara Sandeman and Elizabeth Verderosa. And Marina and I will vote for them. All right, that takes care of basic business. I'll give a quick president's report as soon as I find it. And I will share my screen. Oh, Jeremy, can you enable screen sharing? Okay. So at the moment, we have 47 choruses, organizations that are members, and we actually have 1 individual member who joined just because he wanted to sing at Carnegie Hall. And we had 3 new members during the year. 2, by the way, are church choirs, and I think those are the first church choirs we have had joining us. And maybe church choirs think they can't join, but they can. And we had 3 members that had taken a break, but they're back. We're glad to have them. We had a very successful annual meeting just about a year ago with a panel discussion on exploring classical choral music by Black composers. And in case you missed that, there's a recording of it on our website under NJCC previous events. And there are also some very informative handouts and resource lists about classical choral music by contemporary living African-American composers. And then we had 2 opportunities during the year, thanks to our highly well-connected vice president, where our members were invited to sing at Carnegie Hall to flesh out the choir for some performances where other choirs from across the country were paying to participate, but we didn't have to pay. And we hope that that relationship will continue. And there's a possibility that the venues might expand, and we might have opportunities for members to sing at Geffen Hall, what used to be known as Avery Fisher Hall or Philharmonic Hall. One never knows, but it's one of those little extra advantages of being a member. And so it is time for choruses to renew their memberships. We haven't yet sent out that email, but we will do that shortly when Elizabeth gets over jet lag. And you don't have to wait for the email to come. You can renew online at any time, or you can mail a check, and the instructions and forms and whatever's are on our website. We are planning to have some sort of workshop in the spring. I know Marina has reached out to someone who can do a presentation on the aging voice, which is certainly something that I'm concerned about. And I think many of our choir members are, no longer so young, and they want to maintain their vocal health and keep singing. We have been trying for several years in a row to be able to have an in-person big sing. And every time we tried, we had to cancel it because of COVID. And we don't know what's going to happen, but we haven't given up yet. And I want to point out that a couple of our board members have told me that although they agreed to accept another term, this is going to be their last term. Some of them have been on the board for, a decade or more. And so we are in need of more volunteers to help us do what we do. So please be thinking about that. We would love to have you on the board. If having you on the board is more than you are willing to consider, you don't have to go that far. You could just do a sort of a now and then kind of thing. When we have a live event, we always need warm bodies to be, signing people in and putting out cookies and that sort of thing. And when we have a virtual event, we still need people to be doing various kinds of virtual legwork to get things rolling. I do want to know if Jeremy has a treasurer's report for us in his official board capacity.
You certainly do.
That's what I figured.
So I will share my screen.
I will unshare. Okay. Oh, I'm already unshared. Good.
So here you see the treasurer's report. Very simple. The income we received was $1,200 this past year. The expenditures were minimal because of COVID and various reasons we weren't able to do some of the things that we enjoy doing. So there was the cost for tax filing with the state. We have PayPal fees that we pay every time someone uses PayPal. Duplicate use was refunded, and I need to show that. Somebody paid twice, and I sent the second payment back. And then our postal service. So that was the sum total of our expenses for this past year. So it leaves us with a balance on hand. We started out with $6,577.45, and we ended the year with $7,495.69. Any questions on that?
Yeah, Jeremy, this is 2022, correct?
That's 2022.
Okay.
Oh,
It
and I
says,
didn't change that. You're right. I'm sorry.
okay.
I will
I,
amend that.
okay.
Jeremy, I'm taking notes and I can't see a screen share. So can you give me the total expenses for this for 2022?
I can send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me so I can include it in the minutes, please.
Yeah, I will send that to you.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, very good. So, we're solvent, and whatever, money we have lying around, we use to pay a presenter when it's someone that wants to be paid and is worth being paid. If we can, we'll pay the presenter out of what we have on hand and not have to charge a registration fee. So we will, have to see how that goes. When we have a live event, then we're going to have to pay a site rental fee. And we make an attempt to have each event pay for itself. And we try to have, one sort of workshop in the fall, one sort of workshop in the spring, some sort of presentation at the annual meeting in January, and when we can, some sort of open sing around June, when most of the choruses have concluded their performing season. And everything that we do is done by volunteers, and so we always need more volunteers. And I would like to hear from anyone who is on the Zoom. Are there particular topics that you would like to have us present, to find the speaker? Or are there particular concerns or issues that we could help with in some way? If you do, you can unmute and say something.
If I could help a little bit with that, just so you guys know, by and large, I'm kind of in charge of exploring the possible programming. So there are two types of programming that are productive, and that by and large we try to accommodate as the topics become much more in demand, and that is either topics that have to do with performance, and that means with singing, with all sorts of issues that our actual singing memberships might require, and then things that organizations require, like, for example, board development or grant writing and such. And certainly we've done a whole bunch of workshops in the past, but times change and technologies change, and certainly the social environment changes. And so we need to know from you guys if there's anything in particular that your course is facing, be it performance-oriented or organizationally oriented, that you need help with, or that you feel hasn't been addressed enough by the resources that you presently have. So I hope that starts you thinking a little bit about some feedback that you might give us. And today would be a great time to hear from you all. At the same time, you can think about it. And you can always email us to say, now that you've mentioned it, we really need somebody to help us with, board development. And again, we can explore that. So again, the forum is open, and we'd very much like to hear what would help you.
Marina, before anybody else pipes up, I just want to fill you in. Before you got on, we were hearing from a number of people who are struggling with getting their choirs back to pre-COVID numbers. So maybe recruiting is a topic that some of us might be interested in.
Okay, thank you for that feedback. That's a start, very good start. And that has been a challenge for all of us, yes? I know, for example, for me at Arcadian Chorale, pre-COVID, I had the best chorus I've ever had. You know, I founded Arcadian Chorale 30 years ago, believe it or not, 30 years ago. And I'm only 29. And I had 85 singers. And my first live performance during COVID was 24 singers. And right now, Arcadian Chorale is just about 58, give or take, right? So there has been a recouping, but it's not close to what I had before. And so I think we're all facing that issue, and that might be a very interesting thing to try to talk about. Anything else on your minds, please? What's the biggest challenge for each of your choruses? If you would share that, that would be very interesting.
Melinda, sorry I'm on the road, so there's noise here, but one of our challenges has really been around attracting younger singers. You know, we have less time, less difficulty attracting older singers, but you know, I feel to some degree our group is almost aging out. And so the focus on recruitment is less COVID related and more about sustainability.
Yeah, that's a huge issue for many groups, I think, too. We face issues in that, for example, my take is, and I could be really wrong, so if you disagree with this statement, please let me know. My take is that, for example, there are fewer church choirs that are as active as they used to be. And because they've been supplanted by praise teams and other forms of participation in services. And so standard choral singing, where you might grow up with it in church like I did, may not be the same experience for young people today. I find that to be a huge issue in connecting with younger people. But one of the ways that Arcadian Chorale has tried to deal with it is to do educational outreach and include high school students and college students in our performances. Now that becomes a challenge too, because gradually, obviously, kids go on to whatever the next thing is that they're going to go on to. At the same time, hopefully that kid at some point is going to be part of a community somewhere and want to sing. So it may not benefit us absolutely directly, but hopefully it plays a role down the line. But you're right, Melinda. It's a big issue. There's no two ways about it. I brought it to the attention of the Arcadian Chorale board last year, even during COVID. I said, you know, we've seen more aging out during COVID just because people are so cautious and concerned for their own health. And so at this point in time, we really have to deal with that issue of reaching out to younger people and finding a way to do it. And I still don't know exactly how. So I think a workshop would be a good idea. Any other challenges? Are you making enough money to put on your shows?
The New Jersey Choral Society is fortunate that we have our artistic director, music director is a professor at William Patterson University, and she brings in a lot of her alumni. We have about 25, I'd say maybe 30 students who are probably in their late 20s, early 30s who have joined our chorus. And we're very fortunate in that respect. And they've stayed with us for 4 or 5 years, which is it's remarkable. We're very fortunate in that respect. You seem to be bringing in new people as well, so which is good because some of the older people are dropping out. They're moving away or are not singing with us anymore, or whatever. So
well, that type of a relationship can be tremendously productive. I teach at City University and at their Staten Island campus, and I have a direct relationship so that my students can sing with the community chorus on Staten Island, Richmond Choral Society, and get credit. And so through the years, I've had a number of students who have indeed sung both at school and with Richmond Choral, have gotten credit, and then have stayed to be participating members. So that is a very productive path, but obviously it depends upon whether or not you can create that relationship.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Like I said, how's your fundraising going now post-COVID?
That's doing very well too. We had a huge fall gala this past October. It raised about $8,000. We were thrilled with that as well. And we've been doing 50 raffles, the concerts, and they've been drawing in like $2,000 to $3,000. So we've
Great.
been doing exceptionally well. I think we're very, very fortunate in that respect. I think during COVID, we took like a year, maybe a 1 year hiatus. We did a lot of virtual performances, which I didn't care for especially. But now we've come back again. We've been back for about a year and a half now. It's been going very strong. I think people are very anxious to get back into their whole process of singing again. And yeah, we're doing very well. Membership could be a little stronger. It's maybe 70 or so. We used to be 80, 85, 90. And that's tapered off some, but they're coming back. Gradually, they are coming back. So yeah, it takes time.
That's great. The best news that we can hear is that you're healthy and
Yes, we are very, very financially very strong.
fortunately
Fortunately,
have the means to do the things that they need to do, because we here at the consortium, and all of us really, I think, feel this way. The more people hear choral music and good choral music, the more it raises all of our boats.
Sure. Yeah.
And so we all need to be supportive of each other, and to create environments that create a positive face to the public, where they want to come back and they want to hear more music, and they appreciate the effort that we make. So that's the best thing. Absolutely. Thank you. And any other topics? Anything else that is a challenge for any of your groups?
How many members per group?
Right. I think
Okay, well, if you think of something, please email us. Right? Something comes up and you go, that's really something that everybody should be concerned about. Please let us know. And like I said, it could be with singing. It could be something organizational. For example, in the past, we've done eurythmics workshops and sight singing workshops, all sorts of things. So if something like that can be of help to your ensembles, please do contact us. Okay.
okay, and you will find email links to email us on our website. There's an About Us page that has email for myself and for Marina and for Jeremy. And when all else fails, president@njchoralconsortium.org goes directly to me. And if I can answer it, I will. And if I can't, I'll find somebody who can. So I think we can move along to the presentation.